wasn't much to discuss when you really think about it.
Yeah, the tournament was just kind of, hey, who's an opponent we can have to fill up an episode before the actual climax?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I do not have my own recording software yet. I had hiccup downloading, so I'm just gonna have to. I'll let you know when I get that though, because I plan on recording myself just in case there's an issue on your end or my end, or always have a backup basically.
Yeah, we're in no hurry, so we'll try to figure that out. And maybe, I don't know, when I get my finances a little better established, I might be able to just bite the bullet and take care of it as well. Because when I do move away from my folks in the future, I'm hoping to start doing some kind of video content in the future. But that's assuming I can force myself to get around to it.
We'll I plan on getting a few of but like you said, biting the bullet with finances too. Like when my finances aren't bad right now, it's just like the setup I want is a little pricey, so I gotta get the main thing I'm gonna get is a better mic for sure, and something to block out more background noise. But that's about it. I don't think I'm gonna go too hard, but I'm hoping that we could maybe post results from tonight if it goes well. So we'll see.
It's not a bad idea. What I tried doing with the file from the first episode, if we can really call it a first episode, is unless I
A
were to
pilot.
render it, it's kind of too big to send or even really upload to YouTube. But then again, I know absolutely nothing about rendering, so I'm sure there's an easy solution for that.
Probably. I would say put it on YouTube or your page or my page. Probably your page, just because I see your page way more often than I see my own post.
Which is kind of funny because I'm pretty sure that my engagement just kind of bites on some days.
You have engagement? You post engagement?
Used to.
Yeah, yeah. So the new let's just cut it right into the meat and potatoes of this one. So the new chapter dropped today or this morning, whatever. I saw it like pretty early on. There wasn't much happening. There, fight scene for sure, but there was a lot of pages of just like no dialogue, which is
Yeah.
whatever. I don't care. But the I'm not good at criticizing manga. Like the artwork looks pretty, so I guess that's my take. There is something I do want to talk about in particular, but I want to save that for more
All I'm
on
gonna
your
say
opinion.
about the fight is first, like last chapter, they were fighting in a forest, and now they're fighting at the bottom of a lake. Somebody really liked watching the first Cooler movie.
So, you know that scene in Namek where Goku is realizing Frieza can't sense energy and he like makes two Kamehamehas and shoots them through the ocean?
Yeah,
I got vibes from that too,
I
which is fine.
actually, yeah, I
Dragon.
can see that.
And then there's semi-perfect cell where Vegeta like somehow came up from underneath him in the water, which I don't know how he did that because he was like buried. He like grabbed Cell by the ankle when they're under. I was like, how'd you do that?
That one was a
But
little bit weird, yeah, but that fight was mostly just showboating.
that was just dude. I love that fight. Vegeta at its finest. There is a line I'm gonna actually pull up the little panel just so I can like not quote it word for word, but make sure I'm saying this right. So there was a line. So Vegeta's talking about like being the strongest, right? And he's like, the second strongest, whatever. Rankings are all well, but they only reflect a moment in time. And
Yeah,
he's like, well, once that moment has passed, it's nothing but history. And I think that's interesting because it's not like out of character for Vegeta to say shit like that. Because this is the same dude that will talk about his pride for 4 hours if you're locked in an elevator with him. But I think that line, to me, it feels more like the series kind of saying stop taking. Like Jiren was the strongest character before, but is that true now? Probably not. Like how
yeah.
Moro was the strongest, Broly was the strongest, and maybe I'm looking too deep into the line, but I found a line like that kind of not ironic, but like a little on the funny side for Dragon Ball when Whis and Beers have been the strongest for quite a while now.
I can agree with that. It's interesting where that's gonna go.
Oh no, the new form I don't like very much design wise. I think it looks kind of shitty.
It's
But then again,
Definitely the
But
eyebrows that are kind of off-putting for me.
yeah, then again, I like Super Saiyan God and Blue just because they're simple. But yeah, I think it's the Super Saiyan 3 face that I don't like because like Super Saiyan 3, especially Super Saiyan 3 Goku in particular, is like such an iconic look, and like seeing it with like that facial style, then with just like the normal Vegeta hair with an aura, looked a little off to me. Maybe it's because that I haven't seen the official coloring yet. The manga usually gets colored at some point, so maybe my opinion will change on it. But I don't know what to take away from it because I have a whole little rant about it, but I want your opinions first before I just talk.
What about the new form?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I don't know. Like, it's interesting because the whole point of Granola's wish is that he can't really be outmatched at this point in time. So, realistically, Vegeta should have no way to win this fight under normal circumstances. But the whole thing about sort of taunting him and the part where Granolah like redirected an attack that destroyed some of the ruins, I'm starting to think Vegeta's actually gonna just total a good chunk of the planet, but I'm not really sure where that's gonna go.
Yeah. One thing that was really interesting is Vegeta kind of made fun of Granola's fighting style. Like he's like a noob, kind of. He's just really strong. And Granolah even was like, "Oh, how'd you know that?" And he's like, "Aha! He's like, you confirmed it. Aha!"
Yeah, really.
Well, that actually did bring something that was pretty cool, because you think about like Perfect Cell and shit. He gets strong by absorbing the androids, but he's like he has all the knowledge. He's like he's like this biologically engineered dude who has like all this fighting knowledge, and he was built to fight. But he's like what, like a year old? Who like he's not an ancient dude. But he had like this built-in excuse to be good at fighting, and I think I kind of like with Granolah when they pointed that out is that like besides his overwhelming strength from his wish, if he was even with Goku or Vegeta, or even like a little weaker, I have a feeling he'd get throttled. Considering like full powered Ultra Instinct Goku actually beat the Illusion Granolah from the previous chapter too.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if Vegeta's new little power up is actually gonna apply here, because it's such a weird time he took the wish. Because like, how long has it been in the manga? Like what, 3 months now, or like it was like 18 days or something for the flight out there to the planet, and he took the wish at that time, and super, especially in super particularly, characters level up in strength really quickly now, which is a little annoying, but it's probably better for the pacing when you think about it. But
A little bit, yeah.
Vegeta, Vegeta could hypothetically be stronger now with the new form, because he probably, who knows if he even had that form, because Granolah wish the timing of the wish was when Goku started training Ultra Instinct in a non-transformed state with Whis, and Whis mentioned that the dude just appeared, and Vegeta didn't learn the Kai yet, and then they're going through, and then they're learning these new techniques, so they're obviously getting stronger from that point in time of the wish. It's such a weird wish too, because like I want to be the strongest in the universe, and then there's a line from the new chapter that the strongest changes constantly, or like it's like a moment in time, as he says. So I'm led to believe that I think Vegeta might finally pull a W for once, instead of getting all this build up and getting shit on like in the Moro arc.
There's definitely the way they handle power scaling can definitely be very unusual, and I don't really know because Granolah does have that whole shortened life expectancy due to the wish. Yeah, I'm just not entirely sure where exactly they'll go at this point, but I think that the fight's gonna. It's not gonna be like a conventional kind of fight where there's. We're not exactly gonna solve the whole conflict of the arc right here.
Well, we still have the Heats, whatever they're called, and their conflict to take over Frieza.
And
And
don't forget, we got this plot thread here. We got the remains of 7-3.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I'm so scared. Like I have more difficulty remembering the manga at times just because it's monthly. You know, so there's
Yeah,
like
I can get that.
that yeah, like a week for an episode is different. You can just see the trailer for it.
I almost
But
forgot myself. It was either Jacko or Bulla who reminded me about it.
sounds about right. For me, one thing I'm still interested in is that they mentioned Granola's lifetime. He has 2 years left, and it looks like they're about 2 years away from the actual Z ending, like where Dragon Ball Z ends, because Super's still taking place in that time span. So I'm wondering if we're finally gonna just leap past that ending canonically because we haven't yet. There's no main canon that has actually leaped past the ending of Z.
True.
Things like GT, Xenoverse, Dragon Ball Heroes, all that shit. That's just spin-off continuity that you can chew on. But we haven't actually seen like what happens after the Buu arc when the Goku flies away with Oob. Uh, and I kind of hope, especially after the giant emphasis they put on him in the Moro arc, that we finally leap past this, just so we can have more story, basically. If that makes any sense, it's like,
Yeah.
uh, because like GT wasn't like the worst thing ever, but it did feel kind of shaky on the start.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah, and Super's and a fucking budget. Oh my god, when it started. Ugh. But with the new continuities they have with the Granolah arc, if they actually do leap past Z's ending, I feel we could probably see something that's actually quite interesting.
Would
But then
definitely
again,
be interesting to view, yeah. See where they actually go in that direction.
I hope because they have done a lot of art stories in this time frame between the Boo dying and the peace that happens after. So it's like it's not been a peaceful fucking time. They went to the future 3 times, like just in Trunks' story, and then went to the Tournament of Power.
Yeah.
Brother whispered your name. He's like, "Hello." Yeah, right. Worst of bad animation to strongest cat. Best page on Facebook. I swear to God. Whoa.
Should be, anyway.
My computer went to screensaver. I hope I didn't cut out there.
Now I can still hear
Uh,
you. You're good.
okay, good. But a big thing. So I've been seeing a lot of people that I converse with about Dragon Ball in the chat I'm in, and the very because I don't participate in a big chunk of the community anymore. Maybe the admin pages here and there on Facebook, but that's about it now. There's still people who talk about the Moro arc. Uh, and one thing I'm curious about is so they had the whole training with Mirrors, right? And he taught Goku a sense of justice. There's this
Yes.
whole thing about it. And I'm wondering if we're going to see him use that teaching in this arc. Because one thing a lot of people like with like Super Saiyan 4 Goku from GT, in primarily I think in the subs, I think, is that he's a pretty serious character. He's not like the same. He's not goofy that often unless he's in his kid form. But like when he's like fighting like Ice Shinron or like Super 17, he's kind of Supermanish, and he's like, I have to kill you for like the better. I can't remember the script off the head, but it's like it wasn't like fighting them for the thrill of fight. It was fighting because like no, they're evil, and I wonder if we will get that with like the Heats or even Frieza after a point. Who knows? I hope I hope it does, just so I can stop hearing people complain about Goku being dumb and super because it's just a drum that they have beaten so hard that I'm just sick of hearing it.
Yeah, they really have.
Well, I think if you just like look at the Goku Black arc, I think you have plenty of evidence to complain about it because that's like the arc that's the most egregious in. But the Tournament of Power, it's all right. It's Goku's not so egregious and horrible that you just want to like slap him in the face. The Universe 6 arc had the weird scene where he's like touching the dude's penis, and it's like that's kind of gross. Didn't need to know that.
Yeah, but I mean, at least in his defense, he legitimately didn't know. It just looked like a regular octopus person.
Yeah, and then that just raises more questions that you don't need to answer. That is something stupid. Jeez. But I think overall, I think the new chapter was good. Uh, since I'm not on Twitter, I'm not seeing people complain about artwork, so I'm not even gonna criticize that. Cause there's a little funny scene when Vegeta's powering up into blue that you see like Goku's like lifeless body like flap around or something.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny. But there is something too that I noticed. So Goku actually came to, and I don't believe he ate a sensu bean. So either Moro's vital point things aren't as strong as he thought it was, or Goku's a lot more durable than we think because he survived a lot of shit that he shouldn't have, in my opinion.
It
Like just Goku himself.
it
So
seemed like he was still having heart pain because of that, but he definitely wasn't dead or anything.
yeah, and like I've had my fair share of heart pain before, so I understand like it can take a minute to get up, but like he got like punched like finger poked or whatever it was like right in the heart, and he looked like he was down for the count, but he wasn't dead though, and I wonder if that's gonna like do a Zenkai boost because I don't know they don't really mention those anymore, but they do come up when it's like convenient convenient for quick like plot. I doubt it, but maybe it'll have something in the future.
Maybe.
The one line I'm still very interested in is the Goku talking about Super Saiyan Blue paired with Ultra Instinct. I hope we see more of that. That's a fanboy dream for me right there, but
It would
who
be
knows?
somewhat engaging, yeah, to actually see where they go with that. Oh, I completely forgot to mention this, but somehow it just kind of popped back in my head all of a sudden. When you were talking about the Zenkai, I started thinking mentally like they didn't really mention them much by the time they got to Cell. The way Vegeta was kind of taunting Granolah, that's sort of like how Perfect Cell was taunting Trunks. He's like, "You're inexperienced for this, so you can't beat me, even if you are a strong fighter." And maybe that's kind of what they're trying to evoke here.
Wow, that's well. I have the manga right in front because I shared that on my page. So I can just like I'm just scrolling through it right now. Hold on. Let me get the little. Of course now, because I'm trying to update the thing. Facebook app just crashes on me.
Yeah,
That's it. That is an interesting observation that I didn't actually notice that. Oh, that's cursed.
that
People
doesn't
keep
sound good if you just say that's cursed.
people keep sharing like bald Vegeta
Oh
with
yeah,
like
I saw
Frieza.
that.
Yeah. The internet's gotta have its memes. All right. All right. Paralleling people's history. That's a pretty dark aligned Vegeta. There's something interesting here. Granolah talks about how he's like, I see your destructive power is lacking, so you make up for it with quantity. And then let me illustrate the gulf between us. So does that confirm Granola's using the Hakai, or is he just saying he just can that he's just stronger? Hmm, I do not know.
Interesting. I guess we'll have to see where that takes us to.
God, next chapter, God of Destruction Granolah. He just evolves as soon
Oh
as Vegeta
gracious.
doesn't just one shots him, and he's like, "You're weak," and it's like, "Oh man." Vegeta didn't do the curse pose though, the like thumb next to his like chin. He's like, "I'll be your opponent," so maybe he's not gonna lose now. But
Surprisingly.
I want. Oh, I do hope that this guy, Destruction Form, doesn't overtake Vegeta's Super Saiyan of like the blue evolved he got in the Tournament of Power because that was a pretty big deal in the Tournament of Power and Moro arc. So I would be a little sad about it, but I would be interested if they like pair it with blue like Goku does with Ultra Instinct.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what they do. Because he hasn't really gone back to that form, so. Well, I guess he did a little against Moro, but I mean, it's really only like one arc.
Yeah, I don't know if they're trying to sell it as like his new form, but well now we got the God Destruction, but you just who fucking knows. There's an interesting last line of dialogue with Goku. Goku's not in this chapter very much, which I'm kind of glad about too.
Yeah,
But he says he's like, oh, Vegeta's chi just changed. Feels like God chi, but not any old God chi. Interesting. So does Goku like know the difference? Well, maybe he did fight Beerus. He was the first one to fight Beerus.
yeah,
Back in the
yeah. He was the first one to fight Beerus, and I mean, I guess just being around them for so long, like he didn't really fight Toppo himself, but he was at least present for the fight.
Vegeta like clapped Toppo. I that see because I think I put the blue evolved on two other pedestals because he beat God of Destruction Toppo, right? Like in the I don't remember the Tournament of Power manga very well because it I don't think it was really good in the manga, but the anime had this entire like scene and episode, half an episode dedicated to Vegeta beating Toppo. So I thought like if he would have learned Hakai, it would be like adapted into his blue form. But obviously not from this chapter's ending. So
Actually, maybe they
who
should have, because didn't the manga arc for Goku Black, like, wasn't the point of that that Goku tried to Hakai Zamasu when he was like a Super Saiyan form? I feel like he did.
he yeah actually he it was Merge Zamasu, and I remember this made people were freaking out over this. But earlier in the Granolah arc, I believe when Beerus was starting to train Vegeta, he's like, oh, the Vegeta's my student now. He like plucks him up like a little puppy. Goku actually like said something about that he couldn't correctly do the Hakai, and it's not his style of technique.
Right.
Which is a strange line because they never Dragon Ball's never really like distinguished techniques before. Like they do, but not much. Like Krillin using the Kienza and Destructo Disc, whatever you want to call it. It's never been like only Krillin can use this move. Goku has used it numerous times. Like that idea that there's a technique that like some people just can't do, like Vegeta with Ultra Instinct, I think should be focused way more on however the next chapter concludes, especially if they have to go back for more training or something, because I think that would be a breath of fresh air. Because like Dragon Ball does have the problem of like just everyone doing the same like punches, kicks, and beams, and I
Yeah,
think
definitely.
I think Ultra Instinct has been a small remedy to it, but not a permanent one, just because it's been. Has it been retconned? I can't tell, because like I remember there was this guy before I left Twitter who like had a page dedicated to just shitting on the manga, which was weird. It wasn't the battle memes of Mari. It was someone else. He was called like Hakataro or something like that.
Doesn't ring a
But
bell, but there's probably a lot of active Dragon Ball content creators I know nothing about.
let's be glad too. This it's probably just a. Whew. But but he pointed out that they retconned Ultra Instinct in the Granolah arc to have it to where Goku has to use it untransformed. But I don't think that's true because I think they said the same thing in the Moro arc that Miras simply taught Goku how to draw out full power Ultra Instincts on like when he wants to, but like he still has difficulty with it. And then later in the arc, in this arc, Whis is like, oh, you got to use it untransformed because using it like a transformation is incorrect. Wherever that leads, it's like it's still a little confusing for me. So I hope it gets a clear like this is what it is. Again, Blue Ultra Instinct sounds amazing, so don't tease me with that.
Yeah, it would help if it worked one way or another.
Right, right. But I think that's everything I wanted to hit for the new chapter and current arcs, because there's a lot more like character development stuff, but I think we could dedicate that to something to it for next time where we focus solely on character development. So
Yeah, we definitely could save that for a little while just to make sure that we don't overblow it at one point in time.
well, yeah, because it like because there's a few things I want to talk about with just Super as a whole, primarily with Vegeta. but that would be like another hour and a half of time. So
Yeah, trying to talk
not.
about Vegeta and Super would basically just be like an entire doctorate level thesis.
What's weird, I will say this though, I never really liked Vegeta for a while, but after watching Kai, uh, and then watching Super, I've grown to like Vegeta a lot more. He's definitely a character I actually like now, where a while he was just a character I was just like ugh with. Like I like my least favorite Vegeta is funny enough is actually the Cell Arc Vegeta. He's like really annoying in the Cell Arc and he's kind of a bitch because he doesn't really do anything in Cell Arc. He powers up, beats semi perfect Cell and all that. I'll save it for next game. But overall, I think the Granolah arc right now has been better at keeping me interested.
Yeah, the arc so far isn't bad by any measure.
Yeah, like it's still not like Namek level, that early like the early Namek arc where it was mainly focused on Gohan and Krillin, because that stuff was pretty intense.
Oh yeah, early Namek was actually pretty damn amazing just with how I mean, at that point it was kind of like a stealth mission and it still had a vibe of early DB.
Yeah, so so good. But like the Moro arc, in comparison, the Moro arc to the Granolah arc, there was definitely a few chapters in the Moro arc where I was just like not really engaged. Like Vegeta's time on Yardrat, I just really didn't care about because now I didn't call that he would learn a new technique because I actually thought he was learning instant transmission. I was like, oh, he's just learning instant transmission. Oh no, he actually learns Force Spirit Fission, which was cool because he actually styled on Moro for a while with it.
Yeah,
Great
I
scene.
thought he was going to learn instant transmission too. That's what most everybody was hyping it up to be.
Well, when you look at it, when you think about it, it's a pretty dumb thing to assume because like, yeah, so far only Goku uses instant transmission besides like the gods, but we don't count them as the main cast 'cause they don't fight. But like what was Vegeta with instant transmission actually gonna do against Moro, right? Like when you really think about it, ooh, he can teleport. Like,
Yeah.
what I do like when Vegeta's talking to Granolah before the fight, he like mentions that fusion and like that illusion thing wasn't gonna work on him because of that technique he had, and I am glad they called back to Moro with it because there are a lot of super arcs that are kind of detached from each other. Like Goku beating Hit in the Universe 6 arc doesn't do anything for the Black arc. He just there's not even like a mention of that fight. Goku's not like, oh, Goku Black's more dangerous than Hit. Nah, he's just like, whoa, another me.
Basically, they don't even really mention it. Like, you would think at the very least, because when Goku was fighting Hit, he did the Kaioken in his blue state, but he doesn't even really do that against Goku Black, when that's like a threat to the entire universe.
Yeah, that because like it made it that was just one of many reasons why I began to dislike the Black arc. But like the Mara arc with seven, like you said earlier with 7-3, and they harkened back to Spirit Fission with Moro, shows that the events of the Mara arc were actually important for these two characters. So you can't just say like, oh, you can just skip the Moro arc. No, there's actually stuff that happens in there that's actually important for this arc, and I'm really thankful for that because it's the reason why I'm remembering the Moro arc. Because like if it was just another detached super arc, I'd probably have to go back and read it just to remember what happened, and I'm really glad that's not the case right now.
I can agree with that.
Jeez, I like ran out of breath right there.
Well, you were talking for a little while, and that's understandable. I think the fact that the chapter actually came out today kind of helps because it's still prevalent in our mind.
I would say that's good timing on our part because today is like the only day I could do this with you. Thursday I'm really like I'm off Thursday, but I'm actually quite busy. And I think next week I don't have my schedule for next week until Thursday, so I'll just let you know.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
understandable. I think next Thursday I am good. I'm pretty sure Tuesday is the only night next week I'm busy, funny enough.
I'm Thursday is typically the day I'm off. So just whatever. So I'm thinking though with any hypothesis, theories of what's going to happen next chapter?
The only thing I can think of is either one of the heaters is going to interrupt the fight, or we're just going to see Vegeta start to, like, obliterate part of the planet as a way to get a rise out of Granolah. But if he does that, I'm not really sure what his end goal is going to be.
I think I think Granolah might get dominated by Vegeta, which is something I'm hoping for right now because he has a new form. And let's not do the Super Saiyan Blue problem where he gets the new form and then immediately loses in it.
Yeah,
Which is why,
really.
yeah, especially like in the ROF movie, so many people did not like Super Saiyan Blue because it was just so random. Which and this new God Destruction form, though random, has been theorized for a while. It is kind of it feels kind of fan pandery, but I think since Beerus did mention fighting with instinct and stuff for Hakai being a Hakai, excuse me, for being a god of destruction and everything, and then teaching Hakai, I think it does have a little bit of narrative build up. It's not a lot, but it's at least just enough to be there for you to think about. So
I think so.
yeah, if you want to get super technical, Whis, before he started training Vegeta on Beerus's planet, said that he had to become a god of destruction later, so you can imply that it's been thought of at least since then. So who knows? We'll see, but I'm thinking Vegeta's gonna beat Granolah, or at least surpass him in strength. Maybe kill him, maybe not. The fight gets interrupted, and something happens to where they're either forced to retreat or like retreat and rethink their plan because the heaters are the secret bad guys. Because I think Vegeta did mention that they're up to something, that he's like suspicious of them.
I feel
So
like it would be kind of
go on.
weird if Granolah dies early on, though, just because the whole arc was kind of building up to him as not really like a protagonist, but sort of a tragic antagonist.
True, true. I think there's gonna be a. I'm still thinking there might be like a reason for them to stop fighting, and they like retreat or a regroup, like I just said. 'Cause, like I can't remember if the heats are strong or not, but there's one of them wanted to fight Granolah, and they were like, "Oh, we gotta save your power for later."
Yeah, the little shrimpy one.
Yeah, of course, it's the shrimpy small one that looks like Frieza, within the face. You know that like that just that like scowl.
A little bit,
Uh,
actually, yeah.
so maybe they'll do something with him, and like maybe we actually might get like Granolah on Whis' planet, and they like interrogate him of what's going on.
That would be
Which
interesting.
he seems like a really fucking self-centered character too. He all the dialogue has just been him like telling Vegeta like to shut up. He's gonna kill you. He's like that like really edgy 8-year old on the fucking playground that nobody likes, and it's kind of funny to me. Like he's like I'm gonna kill all the Saiyans, and Vegeta's like, hey man, I had nothing to do with the Cerealians. He's like I don't care. Like okay, whatever.
I'm calling it now. Granolah is just going to be Super's equivalent to Baby, where he's like technically he's against the main protagonists, but people are going to justify him for a long while because of the purpose he's doing something. Although in Baby's case, he went directly to Earth to try and invade, whereas Granolah just, at least from his perspective, he's defending what's left of his homeland.
Ah, I didn't even really think about Baby. I've seen people do parallels of Baby with Goku Black before, but I think that's not the first time. But I have heard it before. Baby was a weird character in GT because like I don't remember the Baby arc too well because it's kind of silly, but there's moments where it's really interesting. Like when he becomes the Golden Great Ape and he's like trying to destroy Earth. That's the very thing the Saiyans did to his planet. So that was like a cool visual parallel. But that idea that he's like baby because he hates the Saiyans is, I guess, true. he's not taking over any bodies, thankfully, or like laying eggs in people somehow. But he is currently fighting the Saiyans, but I don't think he's gonna have a revelation that like the Saiyans are like good guys because galactic history speaking, they're not. They're like galactic people that worked for Frieza, destroying planets and selling them. They're not good people.
Yeah,
So
true.
maybe he'll have to. Maybe there'll be a forced team up, and then he just learns to live with them. And he just like doesn't disturb them anymore, or he dies from his shortened lifespan.
Yeah, I feel like that's going to happen.
Well, I doubt they're gonna kill Frieza. Because I was thinking, I'm like, what if they kill Frieza in this arc for Granolah? Well,
Frieza
if
hasn't even
Goku and
shown up
Vegeta,
yet, though.
yeah, exactly. And if Goku and Vegeta haven't even pursued Frieza after the Throne of Power, even after he's destroyed their planet, he's destroyed planet Vegeta, he's destroyed Earth, he's still doing heinous evil things. He's like, "What? You think I'm gonna be a good guy now?" And like walks away. He's like, "Ho ho ho!" And like walks away basically after the Throne of Power.
Yeah, that's a thing
But
he'll do. 100%.
oh yeah, he'll even like do the ho 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 like he always does. Uh, maybe Frieza will play a bigger role.
I mean, I feel like it would be weird if he doesn't show up at all, considering his actions were the catalyst for everything going on in this arc.
That's another instance of that I've just realized because Frieza's sole actions, regardless if you want to add in the Beerus told him to destroy Planet Vegeta or not, is like the catalyst for pretty much almost the entire franchise. Which is funny enough, like if he didn't destroy Planet Vegeta, Goku would have never been sent to Earth. Dragon Ball would have never the entire plot line of Dragon Ball wouldn't have happened. Then Z, all that, nothing would have happened if Frieza never destroyed the planet, which is interesting. He's even like directly related to the Buu arc as well. Shows you the staying power Frieza has had for this series. It's really interesting.
I can definitely agree with that. And I think it's kind of interesting because, like, in a weird way, I don't know, you could argue in a bunch of different directions, like what would have overall happened in the DB universe if Frieza never destroyed the Saiyans or just destroyed them at a different time frame or just anything, like how that would have overall affected the DB universe. But it's very strange. It really was the one action that kind of directly led to every major conflict.
True. Like it's kind of interesting too because Frieza has been responsible indirectly and directly for some of the most important events in Dragon Ball. Goku becoming a Super Saiyan was strictly through Frieza killing Krillin and Goku's own like inability to stop him. And then the universe being not erased and turned into nothing was actually because Frieza teamed up with Goku to take down a worn out and powered down Jiren, which was probably one of the best choreographed fights in the franchise, in my opinion. That just beautiful irony in that entire scene. Then there's 17 as well, who was a creation to kill Goku. But
Absolutely.
they've name dropped Frieza so much in this arc that I feel like he's got to show up in this arc without a doubt.
It would be very bizarre if he doesn't.
Hey, I'll be right back.
Yeah, take your time. Should I try to freestyle? Like freestyle entertaining, not start rapping. I'm not gonna start busting out the Fushnikins for all of y'all. Though that might get a kick out of people.
Hey, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah, we just got hit with a flash flood warning, and my brother has guests over.
Ah,
Yeah, it's been crazy where I'm at, but that's whatever.
that's
Well, that gives me a little since they're cleaning up. That gives me a little more time because I was gonna try to end it around 8.
That's actually
I'll do eight.
weird that it's raining for you, because it's not supposed to rain for us except for like a brief stint tomorrow in like the early afternoon.
Where are you out of curiosity?
Eh, how would I really describe it? We're about 100 miles distance-wise, uh, like central eastern Pennsylvania. It's kind of weird to describe if you're not really.
Oh, well, I'm. Doesn't matter. I'm just having a horrible rainstorm. There's been like 8 cracks of thunder. I don't even know if my mic picked it up. I hope not.
Think of us as
Doesn't
basically.
matter.
We're basically the midpoint between Philadelphia and Scranton, give or take a little bit.
Interesting, interesting.
Yeah, there's nothing here, by the way.
No, I know. PA. There's nothing there. All the cool stuff here.
Call
I
it
hate
being
the state.
call it being in the middle of the world's most disappointing pentagram, as I like to call it, because you can get to about 5 major cities in like an hour drive from pretty much any direction, but that's about as good as you're getting.
That's a great anagram. I think you know what I can spare 8:15 ish then.
Okay.
Just because I think these should be about an hour long in my opinion. Let's start at an hour, and if it's just too chunky, let's narrow it down to 45. And if that's too chunky, let's try 30.
Sure.
Keep it quick. I think back to the Frieza thing. I think he's going to appear in this arc. He might be stronger too. Maybe he's been training. Um, because I don't think they're gonna have Frieza come in the arc and then just get like crapped on by Granolah, and then Granola's like, "Oh, I killed Frieza." I doubt that's gonna happen.
Yeah, it wouldn't.
How weird would it be if Frieza actually ends up being stronger, like way stronger too? Because he did the mental image training right from the
Yeah.
Tournament of Power, and that made him like super strong. He was literally equal to Goku. They straight up say this too at the time. Then Goku just in 40 minutes became way stronger, but who cares? But sorry, background noise. But I think like he could come back during this arc to fight the Heaters too and like kill them because that you can't just casually say you're gonna overthrow Frieza's empire. That's not really a small implication. I think that's a rather big one.
I don't know, like that. I feel like they're trying to hype up some kind of weird action, so like if they can get Frieza's guard down, they might try to do something to him, but I don't know what.
Well, who knows? Frieza's not a stupid character in universe. He's actually like really smart and like what is it? Perceptive maybe? Yeah, I think
Perceptive?
yeah. Sorry, Duke and Gold. Because
I
it's like like on Planet Vegeta in the Broly movie, he like just straight up automatically knows people are trying to kill him. He like bam 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 kills them all. It's like, oh cool. So maybe he just destroys the hears and like he likes the savior of the arc and he like flies away back into space. Nothing happens.
I mean, he is smart, but he does get a little overconfident for his own good, and that's kind of his biggest undoing. So, I don't know. If they catch the guy in like a vulnerable position, like if they try to
Get him when he's pooping.
if they're in a conflict with him, like if the Heaters get into some kind of fight with him and they're overpowered, but they lead him to a pissed off Granolah, that could be a real problem for the guy.
Yeah, well, because they thought Goku and Vegeta would lead Granolah to Frieza, and the four of them would kill each other. That's obviously not what's happening. So maybe the Heaters are like in a really bad spot right now, and they're like they might draw Frieza to them. That could
Probably.
be interesting. Ooh, that'd be really cool. He like blows up Granola's planet just to be a dick,
Yeah.
and Granola's like no. And then he has another reason to hate Frieza, even though you would think he'd hate the Saiyans more, but he's got a pretty big hate hard on for Frieza. So free, just that soundtrack playing in the background.
Well, what is the soundtrack? I can't hear it.
The Frieza soundtrack from the
Ah, yeah.
like that quick little track they had in the ROF movie. Like that only showed up for like 30 seconds and then just never showed up again.
Well,
Trailer music as I call it.
That was an actual song by for I don't know when it came out, like the early 2000s, I think.
Probably, probably. Gotta say, look, because I'm looking through the chapter, like today's chapter right now.
Yeah.
Uh, I think it's a decent one. I think it's actually better that they ended it with Vegeta transforming, just so that way you can be super hyped for the next chapter. But there's some interesting fucking
They do have a
choreography. Is it?
Sorry, what was that?
There's a really interesting scene where like Granolah summons a rock behind Vegeta, destroys it, and then like as Vegeta's riding on the explosion, he like punches him.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty cool.
It did
Yeah.
look
Oh,
nice. Like it was a nicely done fight scene.
yeah. There's the entire river part that you were mentioning. Yeah, where they're like underwater. Dragon Ball. I'm glad Dragon Ball, like the underwater stuff in Dragon Ball, has always been kind of brief because you can only believe they're holding their breath for so long.
Yeah, it's a weird fight segment to do, and it actually I'm trying to think how many times it even happened in original DB. It barely ever happened as far as I remember, aside from well, no, even in the General Blue arc when they were going into the pirate cave, they never fought underwater. They just had to dive under.
I'm actually about to send you a really funny looking photo
Oh dear.
that I. It's from the arc, and I think it's just a really funny pose right here. He's like finger gunning. He looks like
Yeah, it's like he's got an invisible bow.
pew, 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 pew.
It needs to be. We need to set up that scene from Robin Hood Men in Tights where he like gets another shot, and that's when it hits Goku in the back.
Yeah, he's actually not aiming at Vegeta in this scene. He's actually aiming at the wounded Goku. Kills him. He's like, yeah, I killed him. Killed that guy.
Basically.
That dude who couldn't defend himself. I'm so good. Ugh. Will say again though, overall, just 'cause it's so fresh on my mind, decent chapter. Much. It was honestly better than the Goku fight because like they kind of like had to add in like this throwaway line that the longer he uses the white hair form, it's just like less accurate. So that way when he got hit, they're like, "Oh my god, he got hit," you know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just sick of Goku right now. I'm just like, he was so prominent in so many of the Moro arc chapters that it's just a fresh air to see Vegeta do something that's not just be the punching bag.
Yeah, and that's completely understandable. I don't know. It is kind of tired if we always see Goku be the MVP and it's like the same sequence every time. So I think it'll be good to see a different change of pace with that.
Well, what's interesting is he wasn't even the MVP in like the Tournament of Power. Like he had a heavy role, but he didn't win. 17 won.
That's true.
And in the Goku Black arc, he still didn't win. Again, he had a big role, but he wasn't like the sole reason for everything that happened in the arc. Trunks was. Granted, Trunks could have been used better, but Trunks did get his fair share of
Definitely.
yeah, weirdness going on. But like Goku was mainly he wasn't really the big MVP in the Moro arc either. Yeah, he had the most screen time, like most page time for the fighting, but Vegeta's technique and then the help from the Spirit Bomb, whatever the energy gathering he did to separate Moro from Earth for Goku to get the final blow. That was more of a Vegeta thing. Huh.
It was. It was an unusual move because Vegeta's a lot more offensive, but it worked.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I think we'll be in for a very pleasant surprise for next chapter, or we won't. Who knows?
I mean,
I
it'll
try not to
probably
get
be
my
anticlimactic, but I am curious to see where they go from this.
yeah, like the Tournament of Power. Back to that, like it. I don't think it got really interesting until the initial Ultra Instinct sign. When we saw that, because they dropped like the little promotional poster, and everyone's like, "Is this a new form?" And it turned out it was. That was cool. But like this arc, it's just been interesting all around. It's also been kind of a lore dump arc too. They've just been adding to the universe, like just history of the universe, something that's been needed for a long time. Like the angels and god instructions add a little bit, but not much because they don't directly influence like the core story that we've had from Z. It wasn't like Beerus' secret plan all along or anything like that.
Yeah, they're not really
But
doing much of anything lately.
yeah, I know because they're problematic characters. but
Yeah, kinda.
but like the idea that there's actually survivors from long ago who what's it called remember the Saiyans still and Frieza and like still have these like out for blood grudges is kind of interesting because realistically if some weird race of monkey men came down, wiped out most of the people on your planet, and left, you'd be pretty angry.
I mean, I think it's good they're still sort of following up on that, because, like, the Cold Force was supposed to have destroyed. I mean, it depends on, like, the translation and whether or not they factor in cooler or anything, but yeah, they pretty much. The Frieza Force, or Cold Force, whatever you want to call it, they've more or less been able to conquer and or destroy like several thousand planets or something, if I remember right. So yeah, that's gonna come up.
Yeah, yeah, maybe we will get more story on like, because the Broly movie added in a lot more lore as well. What I do find funny is like the Broly movie, it was brief, but it was necessary. I do like that King Cold's like, hey, here's my kid. He's crazy, bye. I
Yeah, that
kind
was
of
pretty
hope.
much how it went.
Yeah, but Frieza and Cooler return later in the Granolah arc, and it's like a double surprise. Woo! Golden Mecha Cooler from Heroes.
Oh, that'd be a sight to behold.
Oh, I know people who would actually be mad.
I wouldn't be mad per se, but I would wish it had been built up in like the actual continuity before they just kind of jam him in, I guess.
I don't even think he's ever been referenced name wise.
No,
No,
he
he
really
hasn't.
hasn't.
Yeah, like King Cold was such a wasted character, but that's a different topic. Oh, yeah, just gonna finish up though with the last thoughts. Like overall, decent chapter so far. The arc and the Moro arc have been since they're connected directly. It's pretty good right now. Still think Frieza's gonna appear and all that. What about you, man?
So, who was I talking with in this chat? I think it was just Jacko and Future Gohan. We were talking about what 7-3 might actually do, and they'll have either one or two things. Either option one, it'll be like a Boo sort of scenario where the energy from the battle is going to be used to like bring him into a stronger form. Or option two, they're going to go with like a Bakura style route where he's technically gone now, but it's a lingering threat that's going to take like between 2 to 6 arcs before we see him come to full fruition or something.
If there's another 6 arcs.
That
Whew.
would be crazy, admittedly, but okay,
I
they're
would,
probably not
you know what?
actually going to go
Would
that long, but
would
hey,
we
you never know.
would we even be surprised at this point? The Moro arc was a year and a half long, just through its release time, and we're already like 6, 7 months into this one.
Tournament of Power, the anime, took close to a year and a half to finish, I think, because it was like sometime in the summer of 2017 they actually started the tournament, and then it ended like late March or early April of 2018.
Uh, I can feel time catching up.
Or no,
I'm
that wouldn't be a
rapidly
year and a
aging.
half. What am I saying? That'd only be like 9 months. Never mind. Never mind. I can't count.
Think very nice. I think this was a pretty good session that we largely remained on what we wanted to talk about. That's good.
I think so.
Yep. I really wish I could take this audio and keep it though, just so I could like listen back to it and criticize it myself, so we could look out for next time. But that's what next week's for. I plan on having my own stuff set up by then. So
If because this recording didn't go quite as long as the first, if I can find a way to get this up, I'll send it to you. Even if it's like
yeah,
unlisted, we can finagle with it here and there.
You can call it general. You can call it whatever. General cold was I think something Future Gohan actually recommended to me. Maybe it was that admin. I don't know, but I
Well,
think I sent you the screenshot too.
I think a problem the first one had that I didn't really count on is when I was doing this, because I'm using Streamlabs and I'm just hitting the record button without streaming, so it saves it as a video to my desktop. Now, last time, just so there would be an image, I was screen capturing what I was doing, but here I have it just kind of frozen on a still image, that little banner I posted on my page like an hour before we started. So since there's no movement, maybe that means the file size will be smaller. I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing, but we'll see what happens.
I believe I shared that. Let me see. It was like blue. I did not share. What the fuck?
If
What
you
did you
didn't,
say?
it's not a big deal, but yeah.
I know I wanted to just for the hype of General Blue. I love that it's blues from Foster's Home.
Somebody, I think it was actually, not going to give his name, but he's gone through like a couple different pages. He used to be the Lord Vegeta page, and now he's technically the main admin of We Post Dragon Ball stuff sometimes. He's not the most active admin, but he's like the main one who started it.
Oh, oh yeah, no, I like that guy.
I'm
That we
pretty
post
sure
Dragon Ball
he's the
stuff.
one who gave me that idea a while ago, because Lookout Broadcast, he did an edit where he photoshopped Blue's head with Blue the dog from Blue's Clues, and that's how the idea just kind of started.
Interesting. I think for now we should probably just stick to like a still banner like that
Yeah.
or something.
I'll try to make a
Just
better looking one later. This was just a basic one to get it started.
I can play around in my photo grid app that I have on my phone because I'm too lazy to download Photoshop stuff on my computer.
Is
Also,
Pixlr
just because my
still a
computer
thing, or
has
did that go down when Flash went down? Because I used to use that a lot back
couldn't
when I
tell
was in
you.
undergrad.
Yeah, this ending chaff talk we would like obviously cut off too. We wouldn't have this here.
Right, right.
Yeah, so I didn't keep a timer. Shit, hold on, let me check my Discord app
We've
real
been
quick.
going
I'll
58 ish minutes.
Yeah, that's what they call it. Yeah, 58:13. Yeah, cause